A new agricultural revolution is underway in the Sahel. Burkina Faso, under President Ibrahim Traore, is taking bold steps to ensure food security and economic independence. While other African leaders are mourning the end of America's USAID, Captain Ibrahim Traore is again mocking the West and proving that a self-sufficient, self-reliant, and truly independent Africa is achievable. For decades, Burkina Faso, like many other African nations, has struggled with food insecurity, underdeveloped agricultural infrastructure, and heavy dependence on imported grains. But today, that narrative is changing. A bold new vision, led by President Ibrahim Traore, is placing agriculture at the center of Burkina Faso's development strategy. President Traore, a young and dynamic leader, took power in 2022, vowing to restore stability, self-sufficiency, and economic resilience. Unlike many African leaders who have relied heavily on foreign aid and food imports, Traore is taking a different approach, empowering local farmers, mechanizing agriculture, and ensuring that Burkina Faso can feed itself and even export food to neighboring countries. His government has launched an ambitious agricultural revolution, mobilizing 400 tractors to plow farmlands free of charge, making farming more accessible to small-scale farmers. He has also introduced an unprecedented program that grants 2 hectares of land to agricultural students, along with seeds, borehole water, and modern equipment to inspire a new generation of food producers. This is more than just an agricultural policy. It is a movement that could redefine food security across West Africa and challenge the dominance of foreign agricultural imports. So, what does this bold transformation mean for Burkina Faso? How will it impact Africa's agricultural future? And could this be the model that finally brings food sovereignty to the continent? Before we fully dive into the details of this historic shift, please share and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and activate the notifications bell for more videos on Africa's struggle for true independence and self-sufficiency. We appreciate your support and hope you enjoy the video. For years, Burkina Faso's agricultural sector has faced immense challenges, preventing it from reaching its full potential. While agriculture employs nearly 80% of the population, the country has struggled with low productivity, heavy reliance on food imports, and extreme climate conditions that make farming difficult. Despite having vast arable land, Burkina Faso has historically depended on food imports to feed its population. The country imports large quantities of rice, wheat, and maize, staples that could be grown domestically with the right investments. This dependency has made Burkina Faso vulnerable to global price fluctuations and supply chain disruptions, often leading to high food prices and shortages. Burkina Faso is part of the Sahel, a semi-arid region facing some of the world's harshest climate conditions. The country experiences frequent droughts that reduce crop yields, desertification, where fertile land turns into barren desert, making farming increasingly difficult, unpredictable rainfall, leading to periods of flooding followed by extreme dryness, making traditional farming methods unreliable. With climate change worsening, these challenges have pushed thousands of farmers into poverty and forced the country to rely even more on food imports. A significant problem in Burkina Faso's agricultural sector is the lack of modern farming equipment. Many farmers still use traditional tools like hoes and ox-drawn plows, which limit productivity. Without access to tractors, irrigation systems, and modern fertilizers, yields remain low, and vast amounts of farmland remain underutilized. Over 9 million hectares of land in Burkina Faso is suitable for farming, but only 4 million hectares are cultivated annually. A lack of mechanization has kept production low, despite the country's potential to become a major food producer. President Ibrahim Traore saw this crisis as an opportunity. His government is now taking bold and decisive steps to revolutionize agriculture, boost food production, and put Burkina Faso on the path to self-sufficiency. And he is doing this without any Western aid or support, a most admirable quality that has endeared Traore to tens of millions worldwide. Let's explore how this ambitious reform is unfolding. Recognizing that Burkina Faso's food security depended on breaking free from foreign imports and empowering local farmers, President Ibrahim Traore launched an agriculture-centered transformation. His government is tackling the country's long-standing challenges head-on through mechanization, youth engagement, and large-scale farming support. One of the most ambitious steps in this revolution is the mobilization of 400 tractors to provide free plowing services to farmers across the country. And it's not just tractors. Captain Traore has embarked on a complete green revolution to revitalize Burkina Faso's massively underutilized agricultural sector. Earlier this year, social media users noticed a long line of modern farming tools and equipment being transported to Burkina Faso through Ghana.
You know that feeling you get when your president is actually the best of the best? Well, take a look at this. These vehicles are moving from Ghana through to Burkina Faso. Yes, you heard me right. The military leader, that is Ibrahim Traore, is moving all these vehicles to Burkina Faso. These combined harvesters, tipper trucks, whatever. We're actually just going to Bolga, and then we found a horde of these vehicles traveling to Burkina Faso. Just imagine you have these kind of leaders all over Africa. You can imagine the kind of progress we will make as Africans. Just look at these. We actually drove, and then we get to a part where you feel like, oh, this is the end, and before you realize there's an extension of the vehicles. These vehicles are countless. They are so countless, and I just want to say a big shout out to Ibrahim Traore and then the people of Burkina Faso. They've got a lovely president. We love him all over Africa, and he's actually doing his best. I actually wish and hope that even if an election is held in Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traore would get the opportunity to stand to be elected as president, and the good people of Burkina Faso would do the needful and choose him. Just imagine, look at the number of tipper trucks all over. You can't. I think the other time we found a horde of this machinery for his tomato factory he was putting up, and this time round is just a horde of vehicles, tipper trucks, whatever. Thank you. Shout outs to Africa, Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traore. Thank you.
It's very difficult to recall any African leader going so hard for their country in recent years. It's always about power, corruption, and being loyal stooges to the West. Not Ibrahim Traore. He has taken the bull by the horns and won't stop until his dream of a great Burkina Faso is achieved. With this initiative, more land is being cultivated, boosting food production. Farmers save money on hiring labor or renting equipment. Planting seasons are more efficient, allowing for higher yields. This initiative is not just about free plowing. It's about lifting small farmers out of poverty and ensuring that Burkina Faso can produce enough food to feed itself. To ensure long-term agricultural success, Traore's government is also investing in young people, the future of Burkina Faso's farming sector. Each agricultural student is being provided with 2 hectares of farmland to start their own farms. Government-supplied seeds, including grains like rice and wheat, borehole water supply, ensuring irrigation even in dry seasons, modern agro-equipment to improve efficiency.
We wanted to come and say hello and have what you are doing here. Because the initiative, we launched it with the Minister of Higher Education. You are the pioneers of this initiative. And lately, so I've been asking for it. Your complete list. I could see the locations where you wish to. So you install for the rest of your program and the speculation on which you were trained. So the maths will contact TDS of your different desired areas there. I lived all around 2 to 3 hectares desired. Then we will inevitably accompany you with drilling so that you can make full-time and accompany you with the first kit. Fertilizers, the roads are all you need. but we also want you to be very soon the instructors. What you have learned, inevitably people will come work with you to learn, and that we can to broaden the base of this youth, agro-businessman. So congratulations to you. It was a lot of courage to accept, leave the benches, and then come and learn something practical to be able to implant you in. Many people cannot understand, but it is sure that being here, you learn the story of many other people who have left and who came to make their lives here, who have nothing to envy with someone who must work in the administration or here in one office, because you can do well in agriculture. Burkina is one country, almost virgin. We didn't do anything first. It's all about, and we count on you a lot. You are pioneers. I hope you understand the deep meaning, pioneers. You must perpetuate this model. You should encourage other youth to be interested in the land to produce and transform. This is our salvation. So much that they will not have this food independence there. We can't even talk about independence. The one who extends his hand, this is the hand that is very tense, always at the bottom. If we spend our time asking for food or go to other people's homes to pay, they can do what they want when they want. And I think you understand very well. Today, you students, you have decided to come and learn some practical thing. We will...
Why is this revolutionary? In many African countries, young people are leaving agriculture in search of urban jobs, believing farming offers little opportunity. This program makes farming attractive again by providing students with the land, tools, and resources they need to succeed. This means more youth engagement in agriculture, a more skilled and knowledgeable farming workforce, increased innovation and adoption of modern farming techniques. By empowering students today, Burkina Faso is ensuring a new generation of agricultural entrepreneurs who will drive food production for years to come. But Captain Traore is not stopping there. Unlike past policies that left farmers with outdated tools, Traore's reforms focus on modernizing agriculture through mechanization and smart farming techniques. The government is investing in farming infrastructure, including storage facilities and irrigation systems, introducing modern technology, such as precision farming and improved irrigation methods, providing training on high-yield crops and soil management techniques. This means higher crop yields, reducing the need for imports, more efficient farming, reducing labor costs, increased food exports, boosting the national economy. There's more. Burkina Faso has just introduced a groundbreaking prison reform. Henceforth, our prisoners will be working in our agriculture sector while their sentences are reduced. Our laws must represent African values, Captain Traore announced earlier this week. According to the new criminal law in Burkina Faso, prisoners and those awaiting sentences can work in agriculture with a month of work equivalent to a 3-month reduction in sentence. This innovative approach prioritizes rehabilitation, agricultural development, and restorative justice. Rather than keeping prisoners idle behind bars, this program offers them a second chance by engaging them in meaningful, productive labor. Many former inmates struggle to find work after serving their sentences. However, by equipping them with agricultural skills, this program ensures they can rebuild their lives as farmers or agribusiness workers after release. Strengthening Burkina Faso's agricultural workforce. With hundreds of thousands of hectares of arable land still underutilized, Burkina Faso needs more hands to cultivate food. Instead of relying on costly external labor, this program mobilizes prison labor to help with land preparation and plowing, planting and harvesting crops, irrigation and farm maintenance, building farming infrastructure such as storage facilities. This influx of labor will significantly boost food production, helping the country move towards self-sufficiency and food security. Economic and social benefits. Beyond improving agriculture, this program has broader economic and social advantages. Reduces government spending on prisons by lowering the number of incarcerated individuals. Boosts agricultural output, allowing Burkina Faso to export more food. Reduces recidivism, as prisoners leave with marketable farming skills. This innovative approach is more than a prison reform. It is an agricultural strategy, a social justice reform, and an economic policy all in one. By integrating prisoners into the agricultural sector, Burkina Faso is turning a challenge into an opportunity, proving that even the most marginalized can contribute to the nation's development. With these bold steps, Burkina Faso is no longer just surviving in agriculture, it is thriving. Traore's vision is not just about feeding his people, it's about making Burkina Faso a regional agricultural powerhouse. Now, let's explore how these policies are transforming the country's economy and food security. Boosting food security, ending dependence on imports. For years, Burkina Faso has relied heavily on imported food, making the country vulnerable to global price fluctuations and supply chain disruptions. With increased local production, dependence on imported rice, wheat, and maize is declining. More food supply equals lower prices, making food affordable for ordinary citizens. The country is better prepared for global food crises, ensuring stable access to staple crops. With free plowing services, modernized farming, and increased land use, Burkina Faso is on track to become food self-sufficient, reducing its reliance on foreign suppliers, all thanks to Ibrahim Traore's ingenuity, visionary leadership, and genuine love for his people, job creation, and youth empowerment. Agriculture is no longer just for rural villagers and subsistence farmers. It's becoming a viable career path for Burkina Faso's youth. Thousands of young agricultural students now have access to farmland, tools, and resources to start their own farms. Agribusiness opportunities are expanding, from crop production to food processing and distribution. The prison reform program is reintegrating former inmates into the agricultural workforce, creating skilled laborers for the farming sector. By transforming agriculture into a modern, high-opportunity sector, Burkina Faso is reducing youth unemployment and rural poverty while building a new generation of skilled farmers and agripreneurs. Export potential: Burkina Faso as a regional food supplier. For the first time, Burkina Faso is not just aiming to feed itself, it is positioning itself to export surplus food to other African nations. The Sahel country plans to export rice and wheat to neighboring West African countries. Under the visionary leadership of Captain Traore, the Burkinabe state set up a new system whereby farmers are provided subsidized fertilizers in return for harvested rice, which the state, in turn, sells to the population at a subsidized rate. 607 tons of domestically produced and packaged rice transferred to the state under this fantastic scheme.
At achieving food security in Burkina Faso, the Faso Jigi Rice Cooperative Union of Bama provided Sonayese with 607 tons of rice out of a total of 1,222 tons as reimbursement for subsidized fertilizers in food supplies. The aim was to support producers by subsidizing rice. From the start of the agricultural campaign, this initiative aimed at improving rice production by granting them this favor. This reimbursement operation took place on Monday, February 10, 2025 in Bama, with the presence of authorities including the special advisor to the President of Faso, who is responsible for agricultural issues and food self-sufficiency, along with comments from Mumuni, Barrow.
607 tons of rice from the plains of Bama have been made available. To Sonagese, this delivery here is the first phase of reimbursement in rice. Subsidized fertilizers that the Faso Jigi Rice Cooperative Union of Bama benefited from during the past agricultural campaign. An operation that allows producers to pay off their fertilizer credits, not in cash but in food based on the crops grown.
The system is set up in such a way that we are given inputs, we produce, and at harvest time we deliver the rice. The processes transform in order to deliver the entire presidential initiative to the state. We have wanted this exercise for a long time. I believe that all producers need this initiative. I know that this isn't at all levels, but now it's about discussing with the state how we can extend this to all producers in Burkina.
It's
a strengthening of SONAES's intervention capacity for the benefit of the Burkinabe population. Already in the coming days, you will see that SONAES will be on the ground with food supplies for sale at subsidized prices. Especially during this time of high inflation, SONAGES is truly being called upon to help regulate the market. So when we have support of this kind, it's truly beneficial for health.
The operation is taking place under the supervision of the Special Advisor to the President of FASO, who is responsible for agricultural issues and food self-sufficiency. For him, it's essential to revive the rice sector and limit imports.
It's really to encourage producers to grow so that our kitchens have a sufficient supply of rice, because it consumes over 40 billion a year in our foreign currency.
After this first phase, a second one will follow. In order to allow the FASO-Digi Union to repay the full 1,220 tons of rice owed to SONAES, in accordance with the signed agreement,
Captain Traore is ensuring that his people have subsidized produce like rice at a time when the global economy is battling high inflation. These initiatives will also generate new revenue streams for the government of Burkina Faso, reducing economic reliance on gold exports. Instead of being a food importing nation, Burkina Faso is on the path to becoming a major food exporting nation, supplying grains to the broader Sahel region, a new agricultural future for Burkina Faso. This economic shift is not just about food, it's about self-reliance, sovereignty, and economic transformation. More food equals lower prices and better nutrition for citizens. More jobs equals a stronger economy with less unemployment. More exports equals increased revenue and economic resilience. Burkina Faso's agricultural revolution is proving that Africa's food security lies in local empowerment, not foreign dependence. Now let's explore what this means for Africa as a whole. Burkina Faso's agricultural revolution is more than a national success. It serves as a blueprint for other African nations, particularly in the Sahel region, where food security has long been a challenge. Countries like Mali, Niger, Chad, and Sudan face similar issues, including climate-related difficulties, low mechanization, and a heavy dependence on imported food. By adopting Burkina Faso's approach, government-backed mechanization, youth engagement, and innovative prison labor reforms, other nations can take significant steps toward agricultural self-sufficiency. This shift is not just about increasing food production, but about securing food sovereignty for Africa. For decades, African nations have relied on Western imports, leaving them vulnerable to global price fluctuations, economic sanctions, and supply chain disruptions. Burkina Faso is proving that a country can break free from this dependency by investing in its own agricultural infrastructure, empowering local farmers, and ensuring that food production is driven by national interests rather than external influences. Food security strengthens a nation's economic independence, reducing its reliance on foreign aid and shifting control away from multinational corporations. Beyond self-sufficiency, Burkina Faso's policies align with the broader vision of strengthening intra-African trade. With increased production, the country is positioning itself as a food supplier to neighboring West African nations and contributing to the African Continental Free Trade Area's goal of reducing dependency on external markets. This model, if replicated across the continent, could transform Africa from a net food importer into a major agricultural hub. Burkina Faso's success also challenges the global food system, which has long been dominated by Western powers. By reducing reliance on European and American agricultural exports and keeping wealth within the continent, this model redefines Africa's role in global trade. If more countries follow this path, the balance of power could shift, forcing global markets to recognize Africa as a key agricultural player rather than a dependent consumer. This transformation raises an important question. Could Burkina Faso's revolution spark a larger movement across the continent? If African nations embrace similar reforms, they could achieve lasting food security, strengthen their economies through regional trade, and reshape global agricultural dynamics. Burkina Faso's story is not just about one country's progress. It could mark the beginning of a continent-wide agricultural renaissance, where Africa finally takes control of its own food destiny. Burkina Faso's agricultural revolution, under President Ibrahim Traore, is proving that bold leadership and strategic reforms can transform a nation's food security and economic future. From free plowing initiatives and youth empowerment programs to innovative prison labor policies, these efforts are turning Burkina Faso into a model for self-sufficiency and regional agricultural dominance. By reducing dependence on food imports, creating jobs, and strengthening intra-African trade, the country is laying the foundation for lasting economic resilience. This shift is not just about Burkina Faso. It signals a potential turning point for the entire African continent. If other African leaders adopt similar policies, Africa could break free from reliance on Western food imports, assert control over its agricultural production, and reshape its role in global trade. The question now is whether this revolution will inspire a larger movement across the continent. Do you think other African leaders should follow Traore's example? Let us know in the comments. If you're interested in more insights on Africa's economic transformation, be sure to subscribe and stay updated on the latest developments. Thanks for watching.